So, is my screen visible to you? Screen नजर आ रही है?
Yes, ma'am.
जी. So our today's lecture is about the analysis of statically determinate pin-jointed plane frame trusses. So as we have discussed in our lecture number 1 that we do what? We make the truss element as pin jointed elements, and the next thing we assume that the load will be applied at the joint, and the third thing we assume that there will be no secondary effects. So who will define truss? What is truss actually? We have studied it in lecture number 1. So tell me something about truss. How it is differ from the beam and frame elements. Anyone?
Yeah, the difference between trust and other elements, that trust cannot resist moments,
Exactly.
and the force only come from the joints.
Very good. Anyone else? Chale, so he's right. Truss are actually what? Truss are actually a structure that is composed of slender members and they are joined together at their ends. So how we will be going to combine the different elements of or the member of a truss? So we combine it at some plate. We call that as a gusset plate. For example, agar hum let's suppose two three elements लें, and if we want to combine those members, slender members, तो यहाँ तो एज वी कॉल देम एज अ स्लेंडर मेंबर. तो अगर आप ये मेंबर्स एक दूसरे के साथ कनेक्ट करेंगे तो स्लेंडर मेंबर्स क्या, दिस इज जस्ट अ थिन शीट ऑफ मेंबर्स. सो अगर हम एक मेंबर को दूसरे पे ओवरलैप करेंगे एंड लेट्स सपोज वी प्रोवाइड बोल्ट और एनीथिंग, सो व्हाट विल हैपन, the members will get you can say they will get unstable. मेंबर हमारे पास टूट जाएंगे, दे आर अनेबल टू कनेक्ट टू ईच अदर. तो हम क्या करते हैं, हम एक thick sheet of gasset plate लेते हैं and we come the and we what when we join the member at this gasset plate so that कि जो हमारे पास members हैं that get together, and जो gasset plate है this will provide what, this will provide support to these slender members. So truss का हमारे पास क्या है, truss में हमारे पास different slender members हैं and we combine that slender members together using this gasset plate. So अगर हम इन members को combine करेंगे so we will form a plain truss. ट्रस का फायदा एज कंपेयर टू द बीम एंड द फ्रेम एलिमेंट इज दिस के ट्रस जो है तो इट इज रिलेटिवली फ्लेक्सिबल मेंबर्स. And what happened when we applied load on this truss elements, तो क्या होता है, जो loads है that will get converted into point loads, only tension and compressive loads. So हमारे पास bending moments and shear अगर नहीं आती तो what will happen to the overall structure, you can say the size of a structure. हम provide करते हैं depth. Depth हम किस लिए provide करते हैं ना member, in order to take the shear forces. And similarly, we provide what? We provide width in order to take what? In order to take the bending movements. सो अगर लेट्स सपोज हमारे पास कोई ऐसी जगह हो जहां पे हम ज्यादा वेट भी नहीं प्रोवाइड कर सकते और हमारे पास वेटलेस थोड़ी कम वेट की एलिमेंट्स रिक्वायर्ड हो, तो एट दैट प्लेसेस वी कैन इजीली यूज द ट्रसेस because they are relatively lighter in weight as compared to the even as compared to a rectangular beam, you can say. So, in order to minimize the use of materials, we usually did what? We usually use trusses at places where the load is not that much significant. Or we use trusses at places where the shear forces and the moments are not that much dominant. So, providing beam over there or providing anything else over there will be just a wastage of economy. So we do what, if there is no shear forces up, there is a little shear forces that can come, so the truss can take that as a secondary effect and that will not cause that much issue. So we do what we usually provide trusses at that locations. Typically, a joint connection are formed by bolting or welding. As I already told you, we do what we either combine the element to the gusset plate using bolts, or we combine the element to the gusset plates using weld. So you can assume that from over here that the truss elements are usually what they are steel structures, and this bolts, the design of these bolts and these welds, you will be studying it in your steel structure course in sixth semester, inshallah. So there you will do what you will design these bolts, you will design this connection, you will design this gusset plate. So all of these are based upon some design, but here in structure analysis course we will just consider, or we will just make our concept clear to this थिंग कि हमारे पास जो ट्रस्ट की स्लेंडर मेंबर्स हैं वो हम गसेट प्लेट के साथ ज्वाइन करते हैं through some bolts or through some welds. So this is an example of truss. You can see over here that there will be no such significant shear forces that can come over here. The thing is just to support this location. So we provide truss as compared to beam. Similarly, you can see over here, these are also the truss element, and you can see in your BRT as well. बीआरटी में आप लोग देख सकते हैं ना, जो हमारे पास जहां से लोग गुजरते हैं, जो पाथवे हैं, तो वो किस चीज से बना है? दैट आर मेड अप ऑफ ट्रसेस एलिमेंट. सो द थिंग इज कि जहां हमें मटेरियल को मिनिमाइज करना हो, जहां हमारे पास शेयर की डिमांड इतनी ज्यादा ना हो, देयर वी कैन इजीली यूज ट्रसेस. So there are many different types of trusses. The first one is roof truss. We have discussed it in structure module one, I think so. That in general the roof load is transmitted to the truss by a series of purlins. I have discussed it in this module number one very clearly, that how the loads will be transferred to the joint from the roof. So remember that thing. So the roof truss along with its supporting column are termed as bend. So इस पूरे connection को, this whole thing, this we call it what? We call it bend. और जो हमारा रूफ है दैट इज सपोर्टेड ओवर दिस पर्लिन्स. पर्लिन्स के ऊपर रूफ जो है वो हम सपोर्ट करते हैं. सो जो रूफ का लोड है दैट इज एक्चुअली ट्रांसफर टू द पर्लिन्स, एंड दिस पर्लिन्स विल ट्रांसफर दिस लोड over here. This purlins will transfer load to this joint as a point load, and similarly this will transfer it to this one. And the span, or the space between the two columns, we can call it as a bay. So there are many different example of roof trusses. You can see over here, this one is named as hoof truss, similarly Pratt truss, and many other different types of trusses. The use of the type of truss will depend upon which type of load it can resist, whether we required more member to resist more load, or whether we required less members. So depending upon the use, we can use any type of roof truss. Similarly, the next type of trusses is the bridge trusses. So bridge में हमारे पास क्या होता है? The load is transmitted by the dig to a series of stringers and then to a set of floor beams. We have discussed this thing as well, if you remember. Here you can see we have these stringers, and I have differentiated between the stringers and the floor beams. So who will going to tell me the difference between the stringers and the beams? Stringers क्या होती है? What is the difference between the stringers, the beam and a girder? I have discussed it in a very detail.
मैम जो स्ट्रिंगर होते हैं वो डेक के लोड को ट्रांसफर करने के लिए इस्तेमाल होते हैं बीम फ्लोर बीम्स पे, तो ये लाइट वेट होते हैं एज कम्पेयर टू बीम्स.
Lightweight, light load carrying elements. लोड इन पे कम होता है.
जी,
So
लोड इन पे
yes,
कम होता है.
load in पे कम होता है, so we may call it as a secondary beams. Exactly, you are right, very good. So stringers are actually the secondary beam. They only transfer the load of the deck to the floor beams, and the floor beams transfer the whole load of a structure toward to the girders, and girders will transfer the load to the piles. So this is the complete label diagram of a bridge truss. So you can see over here, we can call this portion this as panel. One panel, another panel, another panel. So this is made up of different panels. And the panels, and this one is called as bay. So this one is panels, this one is bay, this one is known as spans, which is composed of different panels. So this is span, this is bay. Similarly, you can see the top chord, the bottom chord is made up of what? The bottom chord is made up of stringers, the floor beams, the deck, and the girders. So you can see over here we have portal bracing and we have sway bracing. So just look at over here this portion. These braces are known as the sway braces. If there come any load in a lateral direction, in x direction, so these sway braces are used in order to do what, कि हमारे पास स्ट्रक्चर की जो इंटीग्रिटी है इन द लेटरल डायरेक्शन, स्ट्रक्चर हमारे पास मूव ना करे इन द लेटरल डायरेक्शन. सो टू ओवरकम द टॉप कोड टू मूव लेटरली हम क्या प्रोवाइड करते हैं, स्वे ब्रेसिंग प्रोवाइड करते हैं. सो ये स्वे ब्रेसिंग एक्चुअली करता क्या है, इट यूजुअली डू व्हाट, हमारे पास टॉप कोड को प्रिवेंट करता है टू मूव लेटरली. So this is the function of sway bracing. Similarly, we provide portal bracing as well. This one is portal bracing. You can see over here. This one is portal bracing. So these members are termed, the inclined members are termed as the sway bracing, and the horizontal member in this are termed as the portal bracing. So we provide different bracing over there to in order to prevent the structure to move laterally or horizontally. So this is the complete structure of a bridge truss. We have discussed it already. Um, this is a real life example. You can say we provide the bridge trusses at a location where ज़्यादा load हमारे पास नहीं आता, and हमारे पास span length भी कम हो, तो there we provide usually the truss type of bridge. And if अगर हमारे पास longer spans हों, तो I already told you there we usually provide the cable state structures. We will discuss it, the analysis and design of the cable state as well. Sorry, just analysis. So you can see over here, there are different examples of the bridge trusses as well. So depending upon the use, we may use any type of the truss. So here is the analysis of statically determinate trusses. So in order to analyze a truss, you should have to keep some important assumptions in your mind. The first assumption we have made is that the members are joined together by smooth pins. So in case where bolted or wilted joint connections are used, this assumption is generally satisfactory because we usually provide bolt or we usually provide pin. So pin or bolt क्या करता है? It doesn't allow the member to get rotated. And this is the property of which type of support? It is the property of pin support, that it doesn't allow any rotation, resist any rotation, sorry. So क्या होता है, तो अगर हम लेट सपोज वेल्ट प्रोवाइड करें या बोल्ट प्रोवाइड करें, तो इस इट विल प्रोवाइड अस with a smooth pin connection. So the actual connection to do give some rigidity. I already told you कि अगर let's suppose हम bolt provide करें या weld provide करें, it will provide some rigidity. It will not allow some movement. But usually we consider what, to make our analysis easier, we consider the connection as a smooth pin connection that can only resist the horizontal and the vertical loads. So the bending stress is developed due to this rigidity, some rigidity in usual practices. We don't assume that a thing in our analysis, but is we know that there must come some rigidity in the connection, due to which there must occur some bending movement as well. So we classify that bending movement as a secondary movement, and the stresses and the stress developed due to that bending is secondary stresses. So we are not analyzing our structure based upon these secondary stresses, because the primary stresses that are more dominant. The tensile and the compressive stresses in a truss elements are more dominant as compared to these bending, and there are little rigidity we consider in our connection. So that's why we are not taking this bending in the stress analysis. So the secondary analysis of a truss can be performed using a computer. We can use any software for these secondary analysis. We can even use SEP 2000 for this thing, SEP 2000 e-tapes. We can use any other software for these bending movements that may occur over the joint. But in manual practices, we usually avoid that thing. We consider the joint as a smooth pin to make our calculations easy. The next assumption we have used that all loadings are applied to the joint. So if loads are not applied to the joint, so they will be converted into a joint load in order to analyze a truss. In most situations, such as bridges or roof trusses, this assumption is true. We have discussed it that how the load is transferred to the element as a point load. Frequently in the force analysis, the weight of the member. Acha, the next thing is we usually consider the truss member as a slender members. हम slender members assume करते हैं. तो while assuming the slender members, तो हम क्या करते हैं, हम member के weight को बहुत कम कर देते हैं. So is the member weight is much lesser than the already applied load, so each member का individual weight हम assume नहीं करते. So we are not taking the weight in our analysis. We are only taking the applied loads, the vertical forces that occur over the joint as the loads, and we analyze that thing. अगर let's suppose हम इसमें weight को include करें, तो obviously our analysis will get changed, because the weight is already is also a vertical load of a structure. But structure के load को usually in our analysis हम क्या करते हैं, हम उसे omit करते हैं. We only consider the force that occur over the structures. Since the force supported by the members is large in comparison to their weight, so we usually neglect the weight. So because of these two assumptions, each truss member acts as an axial force member. स्मूथ पिन हम एज्यूम करते हैं, हम लोड्स को पॉइंट पे हम लोड्स को एज अ पॉइंट लोड्स लेते हैं ऑन द जॉइंट. सो हमने क्या किया, वी वी हमने श्रिंक कर दी अपनी एनालिसिस को ओनली एक्सियल फोर्स की तरफ. We are not considering the shear forces, we are not considering the bending moments, we only consider the axial force members. So therefore the force acting at the ends of the member must be directed along the axis of the member, either compression or tension. So only compressive forces or tensile forces can come over the truss. In an actual design of a truss, it is important to state whether the force is tensile or compressive. You will have to show after your analysis that which member is compressed or which member is a tensile member. So the simplest framework that is rigid or stable is a triangle. We have discussed this in a very detail. The triangle is a stable structure. So when we applied loads over the triangle, so it get distributed. So the simple trusses are usually considered as a triangular trusses. You can see when the trusses is made up of simple triangles, we call it as a triangular triangular or simple trusses. They are only made up of combining the different triangles. You can see. So this is a simple truss. Similarly, this triangle and this triangle. So these are classified as a simple trusses. Compound trusses are the this truss is formed by connecting two or more simple trusses together. As you can see, this one, and this one. This is a simple truss. Similarly, this one and this one is a simple truss. Combining the simple trusses together at this point, and this point, we call it as a compound truss. So there are three ways in which a simple truss may be connected to form. A truss may be connected by a common joint and bar. The C is a common joint. You can see over here. So the truss can be combined together using a common joint and bar. Truss may be joined by three bars. Truss may be joined by three bars. This one, and this one. Or, the truss may be joined with bar of a large simple truss is called the main trusses may have been substituted by the simple truss called the secondary truss. Acha. The main thing you can see over here in a compound truss is that we can join the bars in any ways. We can combine the simple trusses in any ways to make them a compound trusses. So the third thing, they assume that the truss may be joined where bars of a large simple truss called the main truss. This one is the main truss over here. You can see this one is the main truss. Have been substituted by simple trusses. This bar and this bar, this is the bars of a main truss. And we do what? We provide the third bar as a simple truss. You can see this one is a simple truss element. So the third bar is a simple truss element. So this makes a combined what? This makes a combined compound truss. Combined truss, combination of two simple trusses, 2 or 3, and this will give us the compound truss. So third bar is made up of a truss. You can see the third bar is made up of truss. Acha. The next is complex truss. This is a truss that cannot be simplified as being either simple or compound. So how we will be going to classify this thing as a simple or compound? So they are made up of triangles as well. You can see they are triangles, but you can see a trapezoid over here as well. So they are made up of different shapes, so we can call it as a complex truss. So you can see over here, simple truss is simply made up of different three triangles. The compound truss is made up of combining the two trusses together. As you can see, this simple truss and this simple truss is combined together using this bar. So this becomes a compound trusses. And similarly, here you can see the complex truss is something of a more complex shape. So you're unable to classify it either it is combined through one bar or two bars. So we classified this as a complex truss. Acha. So the as we have discussed the determinacy and indeterminacy of the beam, so who will going to tell me the how the beam will going to be determined? Static indeterminacy हम कैसे determine करते हैं beams की?
When R the unknown force, which is सर मैम वो जो unknown force हम equilibrium condition से find कर सकते तो उसको हम determinate structure कहते हैं.
Formula क्या है to finding the static indeterminacy of beams?
R is equal to 3.
R is equal to 3. Exactly. R minus 3 should be equal to 0 for a beam to be determinate. R minus 3, or you can say R minus 4. In which case? R is equal to 3. So ठीक है. That is clear that we are using the three equations of equilibrium. Sometimes we also use another thing as a what? As a equilibrium condition. At that case, we will be having R is equal to 4. वो कौन सी case है? When the equilibrium conditions get 4, वो कौन सी case है?
Sigma fz is equal to 0.
No.
If we have three-dimension member,
No. And I'm just
Yeah,
talking
movement in z direction.
No, I'm talking about a plane members where we can use only summation of fx is equal to 0, fy is equal to 0, and summation of moment. Other than these three conditions, one other condition can come in a structure at which situation?
Hinge.
Which hinge?
Internal hinge.
Internal hinge. In case of internal hinge, this r minus 3 will get r minus 4. And another moment equation will be provided by the internal hinge as well. We know that the summation of moment at the internal hinge should be equal to 0. So in case of an internal hinge, we have now 4 conditions of equilibrium. Summation of fx is equal to 0, summation of fy is equal to 0, summation of moments, overall moments is equal to 0, and also the summation of moments at the internal hinge is equal to 0. So now we have 4 conditions of equilibrium in case of internal hinge. So we will determine our statical indeterminacy of a structure using r minus 4. So remember this thing. Acha, so that was for a beam elements. For a truss element, we will determine the static indeterminacy using this equation. B plus R should be equal to 2J. And if a B plus R is greater than 2J, so the structure is statically indeterminate, and we will determine the static indeterminacy using B plus R minus 2J is equal to 0. So, this B plus R minus 2J, if it gets equal to 0, the structure is statically determinate. If it does not equal to 0, so the structure is statically indeterminate. And how many degrees of indeterminacy? So we will calculate it using B plus R minus 2J. Now what is B, what is R, and what is J? R is the same, the number of equilibrium equation, summation of fx, summation of fy, and summation of moments. So R is the number of equilibrium equations, the number of reactions, and J, it is the number of reactions, sorry. B is the number of members, and J is the number of joints. So, but in a truss, we have 2 types of indeterminacies. I've confused with that thing. The internal static indeterminacy and the external indeterminacy. We will discuss it later. Where R is the number of reactions, B is the number of members, and J is the number of what? J is the number of joints. So here you can see we have how many joints? 1, 2, 3, and this 4. So J is 4. How many members? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 members. And the reactions that can come over here are, this one is the roller support, so 1, and this one is the pin support. So 3 reactions. So we'll have to calculate 3 reactions. We have 5 members, we have 4 joints. So B plus R should be equal to 2J. So B is 5, R is 3, 2 into 4. So 8 is equal to 8. So the structure is statically determinate. Similarly, you can see over here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And this one is 11. So we have 11 joints. And members हमारे पास कितने हैं? 1, 2, 3, 4. Count कर ले जितने भी हो. And determine the static indeterminacy of this the truss, coplanar trusses. Similarly for this one as well. Achha, here this B plus R minus 2J becomes part. B plus R is greater than 2J by 2 degrees. So the structure becomes 2 degree static indeterminate. So we will discuss the static analysis of statically indeterminate trusses in our after midterm courses. So I think you can do it by yourself. So let's move towards the stability and instability of a structure. Indeterminacy की तो हमने बात कर ली कि B plus R minus 2J, if it's get equal to 0, so we can classify the structure as static determinate. And if it is greater than or equal, if it is greater than 0 or less than 0, so we can call the structure statically indeterminate. But what are the cases when the structure will become stable or unstable? So this is obvious. If a structure, if B plus R minus 2J is equal to 0, so the structure is statically determinate and stable. The things came when B plus R is less than 2J or it is greater than 2J. And in some of the cases when it is equal to 2J, so the stability may get disturbed. So if B plus R is less than 2J, a truss will be unstable. A truss will be unstable because the number of, you can say the number of reactions, there are not enough reactions to constrain all the forces that can come over the structure. Reactions ही नहीं है to support the forces. So क्या होगा? The structure will get unstable. कि हमारे पास हमने support conditions ही ऐसी provide की है कि it is unable to take all the loads that can come over the structure. So if the supports cannot take all the loads, so the structure will get unstable. The next thing, so B plus R minus 2J straight away makes the structure unstable. The problem is when the truss, when the B plus R is greater than 2J or equal to 2J. So how we will be going to determine the stability or instability of that truss? So when B plus R is greater than 2J, so the structure will be either stable or unstable, depending upon the situation. If the reactions are concurrent, if the reactions are parallel, or if the collapse mechanism exists. If the structure can get collapse after the application of the load. So that will also make the structure unstable. So a truss may be unstable if B plus R is greater than 2J. And in this case, we will determine it by inspection. Less than 2J, तो वो तो straight away unstable हुआ. Equal to 2J, directly equal to 2J, so the structure may either be stable or unstable. Greater than 2J, so the structure will be unstable, and we will determine the instability using inspection. So here you can see when you determine the static indeterminacy of this, so how many degrees of static indeterminacy is over here? B plus R minus 2J. 6, 7, 8, 9. How many degrees of this structure is statically, this truss is statically indeterminate? This one. Calculate it using B plus R minus 2J. B is what? B is 6, R is 3, minus 2 into what? 2 into 5. So the structure is what?
-1 indeterminate.
-1 degree indeterminate. So this -1 degree shows that the structure is having one support lesser. एक सपोर्ट की जो है वो हमारे पास कमी है. तो जब सपोर्ट की कमी होगी, B plus R less than 2J होगा, तो straight away the structure will be unstable. The next thing is when your B plus R is greater than 2J. Calculate the static indeterminacy for this one. B is 9, R is 3, minus 2 into 6. क्या है?
It is 0.
0 degree. But still we call the structure as statically determinate but unstable. You can see over here, I already told you the conditions for the structure to get unstable is that parallelism. अगर हमारे पास लेट सपोज कुछ स्ट्रक्चर्स स्ट्रक्चर में हमारे पास मेंबर ऐसे हों जो बिल्कुल एक दूसरे के पैरेलल आए, और हमारे पास अगर रिएक्शंस ऐसी हो जो पैरेलल हो, तो you can see over here this reaction and this member is parallel to each other. So this parallelism will cause the structure to get unstable. Concurrency, parallel, and collapse mechanism. If the reactions are concurrent, if the member forces are parallel, if the collapse mechanism exists, so in all these cases the structure will get unstable. Here you can see in some of the cases the structure will be externally stable but internally unstable. And in some of the cases the structure will be externally unstable. So externally unstable, the structure will externally unstable if its reactions are concurrent or parallel. If the reactions are concurrent or parallel. So here you can see the structure is externally unstable because these reactions are concurrent. They are passing through this same point. And similarly, the member forces, these member forces will also passing through the same point. So these reactions will make the structure externally unstable. This is determinate, but this is externally unstable. Similarly, you can see the reactions at these points are parallel to each other, and we have discussed it in module number 1, the prime in a constraints topic. Improper constraints, proper constraints, we have discussed this thing. So there we have discussed in a very detail that how this parallel forces will make the structure unstable. Let's suppose if some load in this direction came over the structure, so the support is unable to take these loads. You can see over here. So what will happen? The structure will get collapse. And similarly here we classify the structure as unstable because if some load in an upward direction over here came, so the support will get failed because one support is unable to take the loads. Up to which level it will going to take the load? So here we don't have any support to take these loads, so the structure will make collapse in this direction. And similarly, this structure can move in this direction. So the structure is unstable at these locations. Internal stability of a structure may be determined by inspection of the arrangement of the truss members. A simple truss will always be internally stable. A triangle will always be internally unstable. The problem comes when we have a compound truss or we have a complex truss. So here we will be going to determine it by inspection that whether the structure is internally stable or not. Here you can see. In general, the stability of any truss may be checked by performing a complete analysis. We will have to perform a complete analysis and then you are going to determine whether the structure is stable or unstable. But in some of the cases, you may have to determine it through inspection that whether the structure we are forming using connection of members, whether this will be stable or unstable. Here you can see we have written over here the collapse mechanism. So what does it mean? This structure will take the load in this direction and in this direction. So the structure is externally stable, but this is internally unstable. Internal instability came because of this red portion. When some load came over here, so what will happen? The load will get transferred directly to this one. Because we have made the member exactly parallel to the load. So these members will get what? These members will get collapse. And as they are connected to these members, so they will get collapse. If we provide some other member like this over here, then the structure will become stable. But as direct application of these loads will cause this member and this member to get what? Because the members are slender members. This will cause this member to get collapse. And as these members are connected to these one, so this will also collapse. So the whole structure will get collapse. So if a collapse mechanism exists, whether the structure is stable or externally stable or unstable, the structure will get what? It will straight away becomes unstable. So the instability may come because of these concurrent forces. The instability may come because of the parallel reactions, and the instability may come because of the collapse mechanism. But these things you will have to determine by using inspection. Similarly, you can see over here, the supports are well enough to take the loads. The structure is externally stable, but this is internally unstable. The reason is when we apply some load in this direction, so this members will try to move here and this member will try to remain in their position because of this vertical member. So what will happen? This portion will get collapse, this one. So this will induce an internal instability in a structure. So classify each of the truss in the figure below as stable, unstable, statically determinate, or statically indeterminate. The trusses are subjected to arbitrarily external loads that are assumed to be known and can act. You will just do it using inspection whether this is stable or unstable. So the structure over here, you can see this is externally stable since the reactions are not concurrent and are not parallel. Since you can calculate its determinacy as well, b plus r minus 2j. So 22 is equal to 22. Therefore, the truss is statically determinate. And by inspection, the truss is internally stable as well. As you can see over here, no load will cause any effects over the any collapse effect in this type of truss. The next, this one, this is externally stable, b plus r minus 2j. You can see the loads are not parallel to each other. In that case, all the support reactions can be taken. So since b is equal to 15, so the structure is statically indeterminate to 1 degree. By inspection, you can see over here, there is no such a member which can cause the structure to get collapse. So this is internally stable as well. Similarly, this one as well. Acha. You can see the over here, the collapse mechanism we have discussed, that if we haven't provided any member at these locations, so what will happen? The structure will get, one of the member of the structure will get what? This will get collapse and the whole structure will get vanished. So the same situation came over here as well. So this is also internally unstable. So for the analysis of any issue till now, anyone having any problem?
Ma'am, please explain the previous that how is it internally unstable?
This is exactly the same case as we have discussed previously in a collapse mechanism. This one. But I explain if the members are what? If the members are connected to each other and if there is a hollow space inside the member, so if a direct force came over there, so it will move to this and this structure. So if this member fails, so this will also fail, this will also fail, and this will also fail. If we provide some additional member like this over here, so the loads, if it came over the structure, so it will not directly go to here or here. It will also be get distributed to this location as well. Is this member will be having a component like this and this. So if we made the structure hollow from inside, so what will happen? It may get collapse. So similar situation came over here as well. We have made this portion of a structure as hollow. This one. So if some extra load came over the joints, like this or let's suppose parallel to the member. So if some load come parallel to the member, so this one will get collapse, this one will get collapse because there is no other member over here in this hollow portion which can take the load, and as the members are slender members. So we will have to do what? We will have to make it, you can say, condensed type of a structure, so that the load will get distributed at each and every point. If we make the structure hollow, so these members are already what? These are stable, slender members. So it will get unable to take these larger loads. So we will have to brace the members. This bracing is important. This bracing will do what? This will try to make the structure stable enough so that it will not collapse. So if we make the structure hollow, so there is a possibility of collapse of a structure. So that's why we can classify this portion as a internally unstable. Is that clear now?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. So analysis of determinate trusses. So we can analyze the trusses either using the method of joints and either using the method of sections. We will discuss each one in a detail. So method of joints. If a truss is in equilibrium, then each of its joint must be in equilibrium. If a beam is in equilibrium, so it's each and every point should be in equilibrium. I already discussed this thing. If a frame is in equilibrium, so its each joint should be in equilibrium. That's why in the frame members we usually did what? We usually transfer the same load to the other members in opposite direction. So हमारा मकसद क्या है इस चीज का? Because we says that each point will not rotate, each point will not translate, and each point will not displaced vertically. So similar situation is over here in the trusses as well. Your each joint should be in equilibrium. The summation of forces in x direction and the summation of forces in y direction at each joint should be equal. And in a truss, analysis of truss is what? Analysis of truss is the determination of the member forces. हमने एक each member में forces को calculate करना होगा. Let's suppose in this example, its analysis is to calculate the force in this member AB of the truss, in this member BC of the truss, and in this member AC of the truss. ये 500 किलो न्यूटन की जो लोड है उसे हमने इस members में distribute करनी होगी. This is the analysis of a truss. So we will have to apply the equilibrium condition to each joint and we will determine the member forces. So recall that the line of action of the force acting on a joint is determined by the geometry of the truss member. The line of action is found by connecting the two ends of each member with a straight line. Since direction of the forces is known, the remaining unknown is the magnitude of the forces. Acha. So here just simply you can see over here when the load is applied at the joint, it get transferred to the member, either in a compression way or either in a tension way. So we will be going to determine that which member is in compression, which member is in tension, and how much load it will going to resist. So the procedure will remain the same. First, we will have to determine the support reaction, just like we have did in the frames and in the beams. The next thing is we will have to draw the free body diagram of each joint. We will have to draw the free body diagram of each joint. If we will be in a while discuss an example, it will be clear to you now. Then in general, assume all the force members reaction are in tension. Generally we did what? We assume that कि हमारे पास जितनी भी members हैं वो tension में हैं. तो जो members compression में होंगे तो we will get a negative sign with our answer. तो जो आंसर हमारे पास नेगेटिव आते हैं तो उसका मतलब ये होगा कि नहीं, द मेंबर इज नॉट इन टेंशन, दैट इज इन कंप्रेशन. द सेम सिचुएशन लाइक हम जब सपोर्ट रिएक्शंस कैलकुलेट करते हैं तो हम क्या करते हैं, हम वर्टिकल सपोर्ट के जो रिएक्शंस हैं हम उन्हें अपवर्ड एज्यूम करते हैं. अगर नेगेटिव साइन आए तो वी कॉल दैट द रिएक्शन इज एक्चुअली इन द डाउनवर्ड डायरेक्शन. So the same situation is over here as well. We will assume all the members in tension. If we get a negative sign, so that will be what? So that will show us that no, the member is not in tension, that is in compression. And we will have to write the equations of equilibrium. So only two conditions of equilibrium will be valid over here. Which one? कौन कौन से equilibrium conditions हम use कर सकते हैं in trusses?
Summation of fx and summation of fy.
Exactly. Very good. So हमने क्या करना होगा? Possibly हमने वहां से start लेना होगा in the उस joint से in the analysis of truss जिस joint पे हमारे पास loads कम हो और हम straight away member forces वहां से calculate कर सकें. So we will have to start from the easiest joint. We will have to calculate the member forces and then we will move towards a complex joints where more elements are connected. So here you can see we have a truss, a simple truss. You can see they have determined the static indeterminacy of this b plus r minus 2j and it come out to be 0. So the structure is statically determinate. And here you can see that a 500 Newton load is applied at joint B. So we will have to calculate the member forces in member AB, BC and AC using method of joints. So the free body diagram of this figure is this one. As this is a pin support, so we will be having two reaction over here, and this is a roller support, so we will be having one reaction. So first we will have to determine the support reaction by taking the summation of moment. Let's suppose at point A equal to 0. So if you take summation of moment at point A is equal to 0, and if we take clockwise movement as positive, so this 500 is actually causing clockwise movement, so we'll be taking it negative minus 500 into the perpendicular distance of this one is what? The perpendicular distance of this one is 10 feet. Taking it in feet, and there they've used in pounds. So either, so this example or whatever is solved over here, as you can see, they have taken it 10 feet. This is 500 pound, let's say, and this one is 10 feet, and this one is 10 feet. You can calculate the answers using Newton and meter as well. So here I'm using the FVS system now. So a 500 load is applied over here, and AB is of 10 feet, and AC is also of 10 feet. So 500 multiplied with 10, and similarly CY will be causing a counterclockwise movement plus CY into 10. This will be equal to 0. So this gives us CY equal to 500. And let's suppose, and then take the summation of forces in the y direction equal to 0. You will get an AY of minus 500, and similarly take summation of forces in the x direction. So we have only two forces in the x direction, AX and 500. So X come out to be minus 500. So this is the complete, the units are in pound. Reaction forces. Now we will going to determine the member forces. So let me open in another slide. A 500 pound of load is over here. A 500 pound of load is here. A 500 pound of load is over here. And similarly, this one is also 500 pound. This distance is 10 feet. This one is 10 feet. And this will be what? This one will be 10 square plus 10 square under root. So 14.14. Now, this one is joint A, this one is B, and this one is C. So take joint A. तो जॉइंट ए पे हमारे पास कौन कौन सी लोड्स होंगी? एक इस मेंबर ए सी का फोर्स होगा, इस मेंबर बी सी का एक फोर्स होगा, एंड अप्लाइड 500 एंड 500 ऑलरेडी है. तो मेंबर ए पे हमारे पास क्या क्या कनेक्टेड है? दिस एफ ए बी, दिस वन एफ ए सी, applied load of 500 and an applied load of 500 over here. This one is joint A. So take the summation of forces at this joint A. Summation of forces in the x direction equal to 0 at joint A. तो हमारे पास क्या आएगा?
FAB 500 आएगा.
FAC. Summation of forces in the x direction.
Okay, FAC.
FAC minus 500 is equal to 0. So FAC हमारे पास क्या आया? 500. And similarly take summation of forces in the y direction equal to 0. So I have only, and let's suppose upward forces are taken as positive. So FAB minus 500, this will be equal to 0. So I have assumed all the member in tension. मेंबर की जितनी भी फोर्सेस हैं वो मैंने टेंशन में एज्यूम कर लिया. जो आपकी लोड्स है वो तो जिस डायरेक्शन में है उसी डायरेक्शन में आप लोगों ने अप्लाई करनी होगी. द मेन थिंग इज दैट यू विल गोइंग टू शो द मेंबर फोर्सेस इन टेंशन, and I get the answer positive. It means that FAB and FAC is in tension. And let's suppose we can calculate the member force in member BC either using members joint C or joint B. Both will give you the same answer. Let me do it using joint C. Joint C पे अब हमारे पास कौन कौन सी forces हैं? जॉइंट सी पे एक हमारे पास इंक्लाइंड फोर्स है एफ बी सी, एक हमारे पास अप्लाइड फोर्स है 500 इन अपवर्ड डायरेक्शन, एंड एक हमारे पास यहाँ पे कनेक्टेड है मेंबर ए सी, और इसमें हमने अभी फोर्स कैलकुलेट कर ली, वो कितनी थी 500. So, and this angle will be how much? This angle will be 45 degree. So summation of forces in the y direction equal to 0, let's suppose. So यहाँ पे हमारे पास FBC का कंपोनेंट आएगा. FBC का हमारे पास कौन सा कंपोनेंट आएगा?
साइन कंपोनेंट परपेंडिकुलर.
साइन कंपोनेंट आएगा. So FBC sine of 45 degree plus 500, this will be equal to 0. So it will give me FBC equal to what? FBC equal to minus 500 divided by sine of 45. So minus sign indicate that FBC is not in tension, it is in compression. And no one told me that, ma'am, how we will going to decide that which one is in tension and which one is in compression. देखिए, अगर लेट सपोज हमारे पास फोर्सेस इन अ जॉइंट, ये हमारे पास लेट सपोज एक जॉइंट है, सो जॉइंट से अवे जो फोर्सेस होंगी दे विल बी कॉल्ड एज द फोर्सेस मेंबर्स इन टेंशन, एंड जॉइंट के टुवर्ड्स जितने भी मेंबर्स की फोर्सेस होंगी दैट विल बी कंप्रेशन. So if let's suppose now we want to show our forces in a member, तो जो compressive forces होंगी they will be away from the joints, away from जो tensile forces होंगी. So if AB is also away from the joint, 10 is 500. If AC is also away from the joint, N is 500. And if BC is toward the joint, because it is compression, so we will be showing it like this, toward the joint. And this is how much? 500 divided by sine of 45. अभी clear है? Is that clear to you all now?
Yes ma'am, clear है.
चलिए. So this is the complete analysis of this truss. And another example over here, calculate the static indeterminacy. The structure is what? The structure is stable. Stable and internally statically determinate. So calculate the support reaction using the same way. Summation of moments at point A. So we have how many forces? We have this one force which will be causing movement, this one force which will be causing movement, and dy which will be causing counterclockwise movement. So we'll get dy is equal to 20. So similarly, we can calculate the Fay using summation of Fy, or you can calculate it using moment at point D. But let's calculate it using summation of Fy equal to 0. And let's suppose upward forces are taken as positive. So Ay is upward. We have calculated dy, which is 20, and it is upward, minus the applied load 24 minus 24. So it will give us Ay is equal to 16. So support की सारी reactions हमारे पास आ गई. Now we can calculate the member forces by method of joints. Joint A पे हमारे पास कौन कौन सी member attach है? AB और AF. So AB और AF हमारे पास directly कहाँ से calculate हो जाएंगे? Joint A से. Similarly, joint F से हम FB force और FE force calculate कर सकते हैं. Similarly, using joint D we can calculate DC and DE. And taking joint C we can calculate this one, sorry, the member BC and a member CE load. So now starts the method of joint. Take joint A. Joint A पे कौन कौन सी forces हैं? Joint A पे हमारे पास FAB and FAF. FAB and FAF. As AX is 0, so if you take summation of forces in the x direction, तो हमारे पास कौन कौन सी loads आएंगी? AX की load आएगी, FAF की होगी, और एक FAB का component होगा हमारे साथ. How much will be this angle calculated? It will come out to be 36.87. Tangent inverse 15 divided by 20. This is 15, this is 20, so 10 to the inverse 15 divided by 20 will give you 36.87. So take summation of forces in the y direction at joint A equal to 0. So y direction में कौन कौन सी forces होंगी? एक FAB का component होगा और एक हमारे पास 16 किप की load है. तो FAB का sine component FAB sine of 36.86 plus AY will be equal to 0. So this will give us FAB equal to minus 26.67. It means that it is in compression. Summation of forces in the x direction. So we have already calculated FAB. So AX plus AF plus FAB का cos component अब हमारे पास आएगा in x direction. So FAF come out to be 21.34. Similarly, take joint F. Joint F पे अब हमारे पास कौन कौन सी loads आ रही हैं, forces आ रही हैं, एक ये और एक ये. So FBE, FE, FFE or force in a AF member. So we can directly use summation of forces in the y direction and FF will become equal to 12 kip. And similarly, we have calculated the forces in AF from joint A and that come out to be 21.34. So FE will also become equal to 21.34. Similarly, now we can take joint B and we can calculate the forces at joint B as well. Take joint C, assume all the members and take and calculate all the loads. Similarly, take joint E. So this is the complete analysis of this truss. कोई problem तो नहीं होगी? कर लेंगे?
हो जाएगा इंशाल्लाह.
चले सही है. अच्छा, so this is really a tedious job to take all the joints and analyze all the members, whether a zero force member or a non-zero force member, but हमने सब joints को लेके member forces calculate करनी होंगी, तो ये थोड़ा मुश्किल हो जाएगा. So in a frames we usually provide some zero force member just for the sake of stability. ये नहीं है कि that member will take some load. The loads at these members will be zero. But sometimes we provide these members for aesthetic purposes. Sometimes we provide these members for the just for the bracing purposes, and sometimes we provide these members just for providing the structure stability. As I already told you that the collapse mechanism will exist if we make the structure hollow from inside, or in our example this type of. So we usually do what we usually provide a zero force member at these locations. So this will brace the member, this will brace the structure. The forces on these will be zero, but this will provide a bracing and provide a stability to the internal stability to the structure. So this zero force member may be necessary for the stability of the truss during construction and to provide support if the applied loading get changed. अगर लेट सपोज हमारे पास लोड्स जो है तो एज द लोड्स आर अनएक्सपेक्टेड, तो अगर लेट सपोज हमारे पास कैलकुलेटेड लोड्स की बजाय ज्यादा लोड्स आ जाए स्ट्रक्चर पे, डिजाइन लोड के से ज्यादा लोड आ जाए, so the zero force member came into action and they take that loads. So we usually provide these types of members in a truss. So how you will going to determine this whether the member is a zero force member or, so we can either determine it using the simple calculations we have did previously कि हम हर एक joint को consider करें और हम हर एक member में force calculate करें. But in some of the cases we can directly say that this member is a zero force member by inspection. A case one is that if the two members are connected at joint and there is no external force to the joint. अगर जिस जॉइंट पे ये मेंबर्स कनेक्टेड है उस जॉइंट पे लेट सपोज कोई लोड ना हो, so this members will be what? This members will be a zero force member. कोई भी फोर्स यहाँ से ट्रांसफर नहीं होगा इस मेंबर्स में. अगर हम किसी दूसरी जगह से कैलकुलेट भी कर ले किसी दूसरे जॉइंट से, so इस मेंबर पे हमारे पास जीरो फोर्स आएगा. Similarly, if three members are connected at a joint and there is no external force applied to the joint, and two of the members are collinear. So in this case, if let's suppose joint पे कोई load ना हो, वो तो चलो two members की case थी कि two members हो और let's suppose कोई भी load apply ना हो. इन अ 3-member केसेस, लेट सपोज 3 members कनेक्टेड हो और जॉइंट पे कोई लोड ना हो और 2 members हमारे पास कोलिनियर हो, तो मेंबर में हमारे पास क्या होगी, फोर्सेस 0 होगी. So this is how we can determine the zero force member. So who will going to tell me which members will be a zero force member over here?
The A joint will be zero force.
A joint पे connected elements जो है वो zero force members होंगी, AE and AB. Anyone else? कौन कौन सी हमारे पास जीरो फोर्सेस मेंबर होगी यहाँ पे?
मैम जो सी पॉइंट है,
सी पॉइंट पे, एग्जैक्टली. सो हमारे पास ए बी एंड ए ई एंड सी बी आर बी सी एंड सी डी जो है, तो दिस विल बी अ जीरो फोर्स मेंबर एंड दे हैव कैलकुलेटेड यूजिंग द सेम जॉइंट प्रोसीजर एज वेल. यहाँ पे हमारे पास कौन कौन सी फोर्सेस होंगी, जीरो फोर्स मेंबर्स होंगे?
एक डी पे होंगी,
बी
डी पे,
बी पे, अच्छा,
डी डी
डी पे, अच्छा, और
एच एफ बी,
एच एफ बी, और
सी.
अच्छा. So the members connected to joint D will be a zero force members. The members connected to joint B will also be a zero force member. And similarly, the member connected at G, as you can see, the vertical member connected at G will be a zero force member. Why? Because at G there is only a horizontal force. रोलर सपोर्ट है, तो इस मेंबर पे हमारे पास फोर्स आएंगी वही, दैट विल बी इक्वल टू द सेम जी एक्स, बट एज देयर इज नो वर्टिकल फोर्स अप्लाइड ओवर हियर, so there will be no force in GF. So this is how you will going to determine the zero force member in a structure. The next method, so method of joints clear है आपको? Anyone having any question in the method of joints?
यस मैम क्लियर है.
सबको क्लियर है? Everyone? चलिए, so let's move toward, very good, let's move towards the method of sections. Method of joints तो हम ओवरऑल स्ट्रक्चर को एनालाइज करने के लिए सिंपली डायरेक्टली यूज कर सकते हैं कि हर एक जॉइंट से हम, लेट सपोज हर एक जॉइंट से हम जॉइंट को एज्यूम करें और हम हर एक जॉइंट से हर एक मेंबर में लोड कैलकुलेट करें. But if let's suppose we are required to determine the load at some of the members, कुछ members में हमारे पास load की requirement हो कि calculates the forces in this and this member हो, so उसके लिए हम पूरे method of joints करके पूरे structure को analyze करके last में कहें कि इस member में ये loads हैं, तो that is something really tedious and will take much time. So for that purpose we can directly use the method of sections. Method of sections में हम क्या करते हैं, if a force is in only a few member of a truss are to be determined, so the method of section is generally the most appropriate analysis procedure. Here in the method of sections we actually is just like a beam, जैसे beam में हमने method of sections किया है, similarly we can use the method of sections in a truss. So the method of section consists of passing an imaginary line through the truss, cutting it into sections. हम truss पे एक imaginary line draw करते हैं, हम इसे section में divide करते हैं, and we apply the 3 conditions of equilibrium. अब तो हम joint नहीं use कर रहे ना कि जिसपे either vertical or horizontal loads हो, अब हम overall structure की बात कर रहे हैं. So here we can also use the moment equation as well. So first, if necessary, determine the support reaction required हो तो determine कर ले, otherwise we don't need to calculate the support reaction at every case. कुछ cases में जहाँ पे हमारे पास let's suppose cut section में कोई support आ रहा हो तो उस support का load हमारे लिए important होगा. So next, make a decision on how the truss should be cut. उस मेंबर्स को हमने कहाँ कहाँ से काटना होगा और कहाँ से हमने एनालाइज करना होगा, तो ये चीज हमने डिसाइड करनी होगी. एंड थर्ड, वी विल हैव टू अप्लाई द 3 कंडीशंस ऑफ इक्विलिब्रियम टू डिटरमिन द फोर्सेस इन अ मेंबर्स. अच्छा, here in an example determine the forces in member BC. कहाँ पे? इस BC member पे हमारे लिए हमें force required है BC पे, GC and GF. So इन 3 members में force हमारे पास required है. तो अब हम क्या करेंगे? We will be going to cut the section over here. जिन जिन मेंबर में हमें फोर्स रिक्वायर्ड होगा वहां पे हम कट लगाएंगे. कट किया. Now we can determine the member forces from here. From here as well. So अगर हम यहाँ से कैलकुलेट करेंगे then we will first going to determine the member the support reactions and then we will going to determine this thing. और अगर हम यहाँ से करेंगे तो it will become easier. So this is what we have decided, that is the next point, that you will have to decide that from where you are going to analyze the member and determine the forces. So हमने जहां पे कट लगाया तो वहां पे हमारे पास अब 3 फोर्सेस आएंगी. ये तो पूरे का पूरा मेंबर है. इस मेंबर की फोर्स की तो हमें जरूरत नहीं है बिकॉज दिस इज अ स्टेबल मेंबर. लेकिन यहाँ पे हमने मेंबर को कट किया है. तो जब हमने मेंबर को कट किया है तो इस कट मेंबर पे हमारे पास एक यहाँ पे एक फोर्स आएगी, यहाँ पे एक फोर्स आएगी और यहाँ पे एक फोर्स आएगी. एंड दीज फोर्सेस वी आर एक्चुअली वांट टू डिटरमिन. सो ये सेक्शन हमने लिया. इस सेक्शन पे हमने फोर्सेस भी शो कर ली. नाउ वी विल गोइंग टू डिटरमिन द forces. So typically the section with the fewest forces are with the few section with the most convenient geometry you have to select. So let's suppose we take summation of moment at point G equal to 0. तो पॉइंट G से हमारे पास FGC जो है वो पास हो रहा है. सिमिलरली पॉइंट G से हमारे पास FGF भी पास हो रहा है. तो the only force left is FBC and the only force left is this 100 kilonewton force. So we can calculate FBC by this as well because यहाँ से इसका कोई perpendicular component नहीं आएगा, इसका भी नहीं आएगा. The only force is unknown is FBC. So if we take summation of moment at point G and if we take the counterclockwise movement as positive, so 100 multiply 2 minus FBC multiply how much is this distance? This is also 2. So FBC multiply 2 equal to 0. So FBC come out to be 100 Newton. And positive hai, so it is in tension. Similarly, we can use the summation of forces in the x direction. Summation of forces in the x direction equal to 0. So x direction में अब हमारे पास कौन-कौन सी forces हैं? एक हमारे पास है FBC, away from the joint are taken as positive. FBC plus FGF is equal to 0. तो FBC हमारे पास 100 है तो FGC हमारा GF हमारे पास -100 होगा. It means it is toward the joint G.
मैम FGC cos 45 नहीं आता यो?
Yes, miss, इसका भी component ही होगा.
Exactly, very good. GF का भी GC का भी हमारे पास component आएगा which is cos of 45 degree.
Yes ma'am.
Very good. अच्छा. So for this, first we will then use summation of Fy to calculate FGC. Fy पे हमारे पास कौन-कौन सी forces है? एक 100 Newton की force in a downward direction and FGC का एक component in a upward direction. So FGC sine of 45 degree minus 100 will be equal to 0. So FGC come out to be this one. Now we can use summation of Fx is equal to 0 for determining FGF. So they have used summation of moment at point C. You can directly use summation of forces in the x direction to calculate FGF. That depends upon you. So this is the complete solution to this question. We have calculated FBC, FGC and FGF. Now, if अगर हम method of joints use करते to calculate these member forces, तो इसके लिए पहले हमने क्या करना था? पहले हमने मेंबर ए को यूटिलाइज करना था. जॉइंट ए को हमने यूज करना था टू कैलकुलेट दिस फोर्स एंड दिस फोर्स. एंड जब ये फोर्सेस कैलकुलेट हो जाती, देन we will have to take joint B to calculate this force and this force. So BC की फोर्स हमारे पास 2 स्टेप्स के बाद आती। इन जी जो हमारे पास GF है ये हम थर्ड स्टेप पे फिर कैलकुलेट करते हैं। सो मेथड ऑफ सेक्शन मेक दिस थिंग easier for us to calculate the forces in a required member easily. Similarly, determine the member forces in member GF. यहाँ पे भी member GF पे हमारे पास forces required है, member GF पे and GD of a truss. State whether the member are in tension or compression, and the reaction at the supports have been already calculated. तो कहाँ से आपने सेक्शन लेना होगा, यहाँ पे आपने एक सेक्शन कंसिडर करना होगा, और यहाँ पे जब
राइट साइड पे ले लेंगे
Yeah,
सेक्शन।
एग्जैक्टली राइट साइड पे हम ले लेंगे सेक्शन। तो हमारे पास अब कौन कौन सी, जहां पे हमने सेक्शन लिया होगा उसी फोर्सेस को हमने शो करना होगा। जिस जिस मेंबर्स को हमने कट किए होंगे उस मेंबर के हमने फोर्सेस लेने होंगे। तो यहाँ पे चूंकि हमने कट किया है तो हमारे पास किस किस मेंबर्स की फोर्सेस आएंगी, एक हमारे पास GF की फोर्स आएगी, एक हमारे पास GD की फोर्स आएगी, और एक हमारे पास DC की फोर्स आएगी। So these are the member forces. We can now take summation of moment at point D equal to 0, and we can calculate which force if we take summation of forces at D. तो कौन सी हमारे
FG
पास FG हमारे पास डिटरमिन हो जाएगी यहाँ से। Then we can calculate we can take summation of moment at point O. Point O is an imaginary line that have been drawn. You can see it is shown by a dotted lines. So अगर हम लेट सपोज समेशन ऑफ फोर्सेस पॉइंट O के बजाय हम समेशन ऑफ फोर्सेस एट पॉइंट E लेंगे, तो यहाँ अगर हम पॉइंट E पे लेंगे तो फिर हमने GF के दो कंपोनेंट्स यूज करने होंगे, एक पैरेलल और एक परपेंडिकुलर, बिकॉज उस पैरेलल कंपोनेंट का भी कुछ डिस्टेंस होगा और परपेंडिकुलर कंपोनेंट का भी यहाँ से हमारे पास कुछ डिस्टेंस आएगा। सो टू अवॉइड दिस थिंग हम क्या करते हैं, हम एक इमेजिनरी पॉइंट लेते हैं और उस पॉइंट पे हम मूवमेंट इक्वल टू 0 लेते हैं, और दैट इमेजिनरी लाइन इज एक्चुअली द लाइन ऑफ एक्शन ऑफ GF, द लाइन ऑफ एक्शन ऑफ GF। तो GF की लाइन ऑफ एक्शन पे हम अगर मूवमेंट लेंगे तो GF तो हमारे पास नहीं आएगा, we will be and similarly this DC is also passing through point O, so the only thing left is FDG। so FDG के का भी एक कंपोनेंट यही से पास कर रहा है। you can see FDG का जो cos कंपोनेंट है वो भी point O से पास हो रहा है। so the only thing left is the Y component of FDG, and we can calculate FDG by taking summation of moment at point O. So FDG have been calculated, and similarly we can we are not required to calculate FDC. If we are required to calculate FDC, so we can directly use summation of forces in the x direction equal to 0, and we can calculate FDC from there as well. So this is about today's lecture. Anyone having any issue?
मैडम ये जो हमने लाइन एक्सटेंड की है तो ये इसके साथ एंगल कहाँ से या कैसे कैलकुलेट हुआ है 26.6?
Let me show you this thing. यहाँ से आप देखें, this line is actually this one, and we have taken a 3-meter panel. The overall panels are of 3 meter. We have taken the 3-meter panel. So this one is the right angle triangle. This one. So you can calculate this angle using this as well. Is this clear now?
Okay, ma'am.
Or this right angle triangle you can assume as well to calculate this angle. So anyone, you can use any one of the triangle to calculate this angle. Clear है?
मैं ये 3 मीटर की किस तरह पता चले हमें?
हमने each panel को 3 मीटर का लिया है। Every panel जो है तो वो कितना है? That is of 3 meter. So if we extend this line, let me erase this thing first. if we extend this line to over here, and if we extend this line to over here, so you can see there is another panel over here. So the by inspection we can say that this panel is also of 3 meter length. And you can even use this thing. Okay, if this is 4.5, if this is 3.5, so कितनी की reduction हमारे साथ आ रही है? तो we can calculate this length using this distance as well. Okay, let's suppose हमारे पास अगर ये पूरा हम ले 3 मीटर पे, तो this is 4.5 meter, and this is, let's suppose, 3 meter पे 3 meter. So how much will be this one? So you can directly take, if each panel is of 3 meters, so take this panel is also of 3 meter length directly. So you will not need to go into that detail. कैसे calculate होगा? Any other question? नहीं? तो बस वाइंड अप कर लें आज का लेक्चर.
प्रीवियस उससे थोड़ा रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन था.
जी बोले.
मैडम
Slides
हमने ये
open
जो
करूं?
जी आप ओपन कर लें मॉड्यूल 3.
रिकॉर्डिंग्स में तो आप लोग को कोई इशू नहीं है ना कि डाउनलोडिंग वगैरह का? डाउनलोड होती है रिकॉर्डिंग्स? किसी ने चेक किए है?
नहीं मैम, कोई इशू नहीं है.
तो फिर मुझे ये एक्सेस की रिक्वेस्ट क्यों आती है? ये किसी और सेक्शंस के स्टूडेंट्स होते हैं जिन्हें एक्सेस चाहिए होता है. अपने सेक्शन
Yes,
के
ma'am.
लिए तो मैं डायरेक्टली अपलोड कर लेती हूँ ना, और आप लोग कहते हैं कि डाउनलोड भी होता है, तो बस मे बी दे आर फ्रॉम अदर सेक्शंस. अच्छा, क्या इशू है बेटा?
जरा स्लाइड नंबर 42 पे आप आए.
स्लाइड नंबर 42. यहाँ जी.
मैडम ये बीएमडी डायग्राम जो है, तो ये
जी.
दूसरी तरफ नहीं बनेगी मैडम. इस पे मैंने वो किया, लेकिन मेरे मतलब इसमें मुझे समझ नहीं आई ये बीएमडी
या
डायग्राम.
they've shown it by a negative sign ना. तो नेगेटिव शो किया है, तो इट्स मीन यू कैन ड्रा इट बिलो, यहाँ नीचे ही आएगा. लेकिन इन्होंने क्या किया है, दे हैव शोन इट बाय नेगेटिव साइन टू शो यू दैट इट इज एक्चुअली अ नेगेटिव बेंडिंग मूवमेंट. सो इट्स डिपेंड अपॉन यू कि आप नेगेटिव बेंडिंग मूवमेंट को नीचे ड्रा करना चाहे या ऊपर. मे बी दे मे हैव सम स्पेस इशू, दैट्स व्हाई दे हैव ड्रॉन इट लाइक दिस एंड शो इट अबव. So yes, you are right, you are absolutely right, it is below.
क्योंकि मैम वो एसएफडी भी नेगेटिव नीचे की राइट साइड पे आ रहा है,
बिल्कुल
और
बिल्कुल,
तो
you are
फिर
right.
कंफ्यूजन क्रिएट कर रहा है ना, इस वजह से मैंने
हाँ हाँ,
पूछा.
जो आप लोग की बेंडिंग मोमेंट्स की डायग्राम्स हैं, नेगेटिव हो तो आप एक्सिस से नीचे ड्रा करें, पॉजिटिव हो तो आप एक्सिस के ऊपर ड्रा करें. यहाँ अगर लेक्चर्स में लेट्स सपोज स्लाइड्स में कोई इशू हो ना, तो ये सर बशीर आलम के स्लाइड्स हैं, तो मे बी दे हैव डिड सम मिस्टेक ओवर देयर, बट दे हैव शोन अ नेगेटिव साइन. इट्स मीन के कोई इशू था स्पेस वगैरह का, दैट्स व्हाई दे हैव डू इट लाइक दिस. लेकिन यू आर राइट, यू आर एब्सोल्युटली राइट, योर बेंडिंग मोमेंट डायग्राम विल बी डाउनवर्ड. और तो कोई इशू नहीं है.
और इसी तरह थोड़ा ऊपर स्लाइड पे भी आप जरा आएं.
जी.
इससे ऊपर क्वेश्चन जो है, क्वेश्चन नंबर 5,
यहाँ
ये वाला. तो यहाँ पे भी आई थिंक यही प्रॉब्लम है.
बेंडिंग मोमेंट डायग्राम में,
अगर
अच्छा
हम,
शेयर में,
यस मैम, शेयर में.
यहाँ शेयर में इशू है एग्जैक्टली. सो एक चीज जो है, तो वो आप लोग ये भी याद रखें कि इफ द shear force is causing a counterclockwise motion in a structure, so that shear is taken as negative shear. ये हमने डिस्कस किया था ना. क्लॉकवाइज रोटेशन अगर shear काज करती है तो that is a positive shear. So this is also wrong, you have to draw it below, यहाँ पे. Throughout my course, I will assume this thing कि जो नीचे की diagrams हैं that is negative और जो ऊपर है that is positive. But आप लोग show भी किया करें. अगर let's suppose जैसे सर ने यहाँ पे show किया है, he have drawn it above but he have put a negative sign over there. तो मीन्स के उनका रेफरेंस से ऊपर का जो पोर्शन है लेफ्ट टुवर्ड द लेफ्ट पोर्शन ही हैव टेकन इट एज अ नेगेटिव एंड टुवर्ड द डाउन पोर्शन ही हैव टेकन इट पॉजिटिव. सो फ्रेम्स के केस में आप यूजुअली ऐसे किया करें कि पॉजिटिव और नेगेटिव साइंस एरिया के साथ लगाया करें. तो जिनका लेट सपोज एरिया के साथ पॉजिटिव नेगेटिव साइन नहीं होगा और शेयर लेट सपोज काउंटर क्लॉकवाइज है और दे हैव ड्रॉन इट अबव, सो आई विल स्ट्रेट अवे गिव देम 0. बट अगर लेट सपोज ऊपर ही ड्रा किया है एंड दे हैव शोन अ नेगेटिव साइन ओवर हियर, तो आई विल एक्सेप्ट दिस थिंग, कोई इशू नहीं होगा. सो काइंडली पुट अ पॉजिटिव और नेगेटिव साइन सो दैट इट विल नॉट कॉज एनी इशू. क्लियर है अभी बेटा?
जी मैम, थैंक यू.
ओके, सो let me take your attendance. Anyone else having any issue?
Yes, ma'am, I have a question.
जी बेटा.
In model number 3, the last problem of
What do you
assignment.
mean? अच्छा, let me open it first. This assignment will be uploaded to you after I will discuss it कि हमने ये assignment देनी होगी या नहीं, but do it as a homework. जी बेटा, कहाँ problem है? Where is the issue?
The second one.
The second one. Yeah.
Yes, this uniform load, it's on the beam or it's just like this?
It is on the beam portion, but it is applied horizontally. So you will do one thing. You will have to transmit this load to these members. You will have to transmit the loads to these members.
To the inclined members?
To the inclined members. You can do one thing as well. You can calculate the reactions to this, the reaction of this load, which will be how much? Which will be 10 multiply 6, 6 plus 6, 12. So the area of this load is what? The area of this load is 120. 120 kilonewton. And this 120 kilonewton will come over the mid of the load. और mid हमारे पास कहाँ पे आ रहा है? यहाँ पे, इस joint पे. So is the mid of the load is at the joint. So you can you are not supposed to transfer this load to the distributed load to the members. You can directly use it like this in your calculations, but in your bending moment diagram you will have to transmit this load to these location as a this type of loading. Is that clear now?
Yes, I was asking about this point.
Yeah, so transfer
Yes.
this load to the inclined members and then solve it.
By law of sine, right?
Yeah, you can use anything.
Okay, no problem. It's good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Any other issue?
No, thank you so much.
Anyone else having issue? Acha. So let me take the attendance. Let me stop the recording.